Hebrew history and prophetic books. 10. The story of Esther. AM 3468 to 3547, 536 BCE to 457 BCE. In the book of Esther. What remarkable story is told of the Persian king and his queen? Esther 1. With what king in profane history is Ahasuerus supposed to be identical? See the introduction to the last part. Who was Esther, and what wonderful experience came to her? Chapter 2, verse 1 through 20. Who was her guardian and counselor in this matter? What animosity was felt by the king's prime minister against Mordecai? The cause of it. What plan of revenge was devised by Haman? Chapter 3. Effect on Mordecai and the Jews. Chapter 4, 1 through 3. Give an account of Mordecai's communication with Esther on this subject. What difficulties were in the way of Esther's influence? How did the struggle in her mind result? Give the account of her meeting with the king and what followed, verses 4 through 17. Effect on Haman and the advice of his wife. Give an account of the reward of Mordecai for the services previously rendered the king, the advice of Haman, and his terrible humiliation. Chapter 6. What was the final outcome of all this? Chapter 7 through 10. And, okay, so it's a book that doesn't really contain any prophetic guidance. It doesn't contain any mention of God. Mordecai is Mardukai. So Marduk lives. Sort of a cult that can be said to have driven out Abraham, or at least the following of Abraham, depending on which period he actually existed in. But it's interesting that the Marduk cult appeared at that particular time. And Esther, the name of the book here, relates to that. But the book was included for Jewish reasons. By Jewish reasons, I mean that it was included because it was like she was willing to do what it took for her people, ethics aside, mention of God aside. That's sort of what comes through the book. Not the best of examples in terms of, oh, well, do what you need to do to win the favor of the king, and he's probably he's gonna marry one of you, right? So oil yourself up and do what, you know. And, you know, so people say, well, this is how you get a rich spouse. It's like, well, probably not, though. So you can say the whole thing is sort of an allegory. And the unfounded suspicions and stuff like this that happened at the end of the story that people tend to drop off the telling the story. Interesting thing they are, but there's reasons why people wanted this book out of the Bible.